thought I was too stupid to notice. I was supposed to be away on a fishing trip with my college buddies that weekend. We'd been planning it for months, even booked a cabin near the lake. But the trip got canceled last minute. Derek's kid got the flu. I didn't tell anyone. Just drove home around 9 p.m., hoping to surprise my wife. Her car was there, so were 3 others I didn't recognize, except one. The white Mazda that belonged to her best friend, Vanessa. I was heading to the front door when I heard laughter out back, loud, wine-drunk loud. I paused near the side gate, just out of view. Then I heard my name. "Ethan is just so dumb, you guys," she said. My wife, Claire, her voice thick with alcohol. "Seriously, it's been 3 years," Vanessa chimed in, slurring. "And he still doesn't have a clue." That's when Claire laughed, an ugly, mean laugh, and said the words that carved something hollow into my chest. "He's too stupid to realize I've been cheating for years." They all erupted in laughter like it was some inside joke I'd never been in on, like my whole life was the punchline. I didn't walk in. I didn't say a word. I just stood there, still as stone, letting the cold truth settle in. She thought I was too stupid. She had no idea who she married. And that was about to change. We'd been married for 8 years. On the outside, it probably looked solid. 2 professionals with a tidy house, matching social media smiles, and holiday photos that always landed on time. Claire worked in real estate. I ran a small logistics firm with my cousin. We weren't flashy, but we were stable. Or so I thought. Looking back now, there were signs. Small, persistent cracks she painted over with just enough charm to keep me blind. Nights she said she was showing homes late. Trips with her girlfriends that didn't match her phone's location history. Moments of detachment brushed off as stress. She was always good at words. Knew how to tilt a conversation just enough to make me feel like the unreasonable one whenever I questioned something. That was her skill. Weaponizing calm. She never shouted, never fought. She just made doubt feel like guilt. We talked about kids, even picked names once, half joking, over coffee on a rainy Sunday. I remember thinking how lucky I was. And I was, until I wasn't. The worst part isn't the affair. It's realizing you were the only one playing by the rules. I'd built a life around her. Defended her when my sister said she seemed cold. Ignored that gnawing instinct when her phone was always face down. Told myself that trust was everything. But trust is only beautiful when it's mutual. Otherwise, it's just a knife you hand to someone smiling. And Claire had been smiling for a long, long time. After overhearing that conversation on the patio, something inside me snapped. But not with rage. It was colder than that, like a switch flipped, and my entire nervous system started working differently. No more assumptions. No more giving her the benefit of the doubt. I became someone else, someone surgical. That night, I didn't go home. Instead, I drove around for hours, ended up parked in a gas station lot, staring at nothing. I didn't cry, didn't scream. Just breathed in silence while my reality crumbled. By 3 a.m., I was at Marcus's apartment. He opened the door in boxers, took one look at my face and said, "Stay as long as you need." Over the next week, I became a machine. When Claire texted me the next morning, "Love you, girls' night got wild," I replied, "Glad you had fun." She had no idea what I knew. And I intended to keep it that way. I started documenting everything. When she was in the shower, I went through her phone. Hundreds of texts with him, photos, hotel bookings, voice memos. She even had him saved under a fake name. Lone client. Cute. I took screenshots, Backed up every file to 2 separate cloud drives. Bought a burner USB and labeled it Winter. I didn't know why. It just felt right. Checked our finances. She'd used our joint account to pay for lingerie, dinners, weekend getaways. Once, while I was at my father's funeral, she booked a spa hotel in Da Nang. Said she had food poisoning that weekend. She was meticulous. Sloppy, but meticulous. The kind of person who wipes fingerprints but leaves blood. I met with a divorce lawyer on a Tuesday, the most ruthless one I could find. A woman in her 50s with eyes like granite and a voice that didn't flinch. She didn't offer pity, just strategy. "Don't confront her," she said. "Not yet. Build the file, secure your assets, freeze credit, move valuables. When you strike, strike clean." So I did. Moved heirlooms to Marcus's place, scanned every photo, every document, changed the passwords to my bank, my email, my storage, cut off her access to my personal accounts. Each night I'd come home, kiss her on the cheek, ask about her day, play the part of the good husband, smile as she told me lies. She started planning a baby again. Said maybe we could start trying next month. Said she wanted to be a mother. She said it the same way she ordered dinner. Thoughtless, detached. I almost laughed. I'd already signed a lease on a new apartment. 1 bedroom. Clean walls. No history. At night I lay beside her listening to her breathe, wondering if the man she texted, "I miss your hands," knew she still cuddled up to me when the rain got loud. I wasn't angry anymore. I was studying her, not as a wife, as an adversary, a puzzle, a system to dismantle. And I was almost done building the detonation code. I chose the date carefully. It would be the same day she hosted her biggest client showcase of the year, an event she'd been bragging about for months. Hand-picked wine, custom invitations, a rooftop venue in downtown LA. The perfect stage for a perfect life. She even had branded candles. She had no idea I'd spent the past 3 weeks rewiring her world. That morning, I made her coffee. Oat milk, 1 sugar, just how she liked it. She kissed me on the cheek, called me sweetheart, and told me to wish her luck. She didn't know that while she was sipping her latte, I was preparing her collapse. At 10 a.m., I sent a package to the woman named Ava, his wife. Inside, a USB labeled Client Notes. Password-protected folder containing screenshots, hotel receipts, chat transcripts, and 2 audio recordings. By 11:30, she had called me. She wasn't crying. She was cold, focused. She'd suspected. She'd asked. He'd gaslighted her for years. "Thank you," she said, "for confirming I'm not insane." I told her she wasn't. I also told her what was coming next. At 2 p.m., right when Claire was stepping on stage with her sales team, Ava arrived at the venue. They didn't argue. Ava just handed her an envelope, then walked away. Inside was a printed transcript of their messages. Highlighted. That was when the text started. First came confusion. "Why is Ava calling me?" Then panic. "What did you do?" I didn't respond. By 4 p.m., she was off the stage and in full damage control. I knew because I was at home, watching her Instagram story get deleted midstream. At 5 p.m., I sent another email, this one to her parents. Simple. No emotion, just facts. 3 bullet points. Affair duration, 3 years. Betrayal during family events, funeral, and business travel. Attached file, timeline, truth.pdf. I didn't write anything else. Her father replied within 30 minutes. "We had no idea. I'm sorry." At 6 p.m., I was in our apartment, calm, precise. The table was set, my packed bag by the door. She arrived at 6:32, disheveled, eyes red, hands trembling. She tried anger first. How could you involve his wife, my parents? Do you have any idea what you've done? I didn't flinch. I slid a folder across the table. Divorce papers, I said. Pre-signed. Reviewed by my lawyer. You'll see we've accounted for all assets. You have 72 hours to vacate the apartment. Her face changed. You planned this? I nodded. For 3 weeks. She backed up, sat down. I didn't mean for any of it to happen. You meant it the moment you laughed about me being too stupid to know, I interrupted. She froze. You heard that? I nodded again. The moment hung in the air like a blade. She tried again. Tears this time. It was just physical, Ethan. I never stopped loving you. I didn't respond, just stood up. There's food in the fridge. Finish it if you want. I won't be back. Then I walked out. She didn't follow. The next morning, her card was declined at a beauty clinic. I had removed her from every shared account. She called, texted, begged. I stayed silent. The woman who curated a life of perfect captions now had nothing left to filter. And I wasn't done yet. The final collapse didn't happen in a courtroom or over an emotional outburst. It happened in silence. 2 days after I handed her the divorce papers, she came home to an empty closet. I'd moved the last of my things out that morning. Replaced them with a single document taped to the wardrobe door. Inventory of joint assets, notarized, signed, and countersigned by both legal teams. She wasn't losing everything, just the illusion of control. By the afternoon, her social circle had shrunk by half. I hadn't said a word to anyone, but Ava had. Turns out, once you betray one woman who was promised a future, you answer to them all. Claire's friends stopped responding to her stories. Her business partner went silent. Even her younger sister, who used to defend her blindly, messaged me. I don't know what she thought she was doing. I'm sorry for everything. The next wave hit her bank account. She tried to book a new workspace for her next event. Card declined. She emailed me. Can we talk about financial arrangements? I replied with one sentence. All details were outlined in Clause 4.2 of the filing. Professional, precise, impersonal. The same night I had dinner with Ava and her brother. They wanted to thank me for the evidence, for the courage, for not letting it stay buried. I didn't say much, just nodded and raised a glass. When I got home, Claire was waiting outside the gate, hair disheveled, eyes hollow. Still wearing the smile she used to manipulate people. But it didn't work anymore. I've lost everything, she said. I said nothing. She stepped closer. You were my home. I looked at her. You were a house of lies. She reached for my hand. I stepped back. You said I was too stupid to know. You were wrong. I knew, and I watched you fall. Every step. The silence that followed wasn't dramatic. It was devastating. She didn't cry this time, just stood there as I closed the gate. That night I slept for 8 uninterrupted hours, the first time in years. Justice didn't come like thunder. It came like breath returning to my lungs. The day of reckoning came on a Thursday. She thought I was at a work conference. I even packed a bag, left early, kissed her goodbye like every other morning. But instead of heading out of town, I checked into a hotel downtown and prepared for the final phase. That morning, at exactly 10 a.m., a courier delivered a package to Reed's wife. Inside were printed screenshots, a USB with recorded conversations, a neatly documented timeline of the affair, and a typed letter. Simple, factual, no bitterness. I included my phone number, in case she wanted to talk. She did, within the hour. Her voice was shaky, angry, grateful. We spoke for 20 minutes. She confirmed things I already knew, and some I didn't. Reed had been lying to her just as skillfully. He told her I was distant, that our marriage was cold, that he and my wife were just trying to find happiness. She said he was home now, frantically trying to control the damage. Good. At 1 p.m., I sent an email to Claire's parents, subject line, "I believe you deserve the truth." No emotion, just dates, names, transactions. I didn't try to defend myself, just laid out the facts. I made sure she wouldn't get to them first. Then I went silent. My phone started buzzing around 2 p.m. Her first messages were confused, then concerned, then furious. I didn't reply. By 3:30, she'd left her office. Her client event, one she'd spent 2 months planning, was unraveling. Guests were leaving, staff were whispering. By 5 o'clock, I was back at the apartment. Calm, waiting. She walked in like a storm, crying, hair undone, her blouse wrinkled. The confident woman who once smirked while lying through her teeth looked like a hollow version of herself. "How could you do this to me?" she cried, slamming her purse on the table. I didn't flinch. "We can talk," I said, "after you've looked at these." I handed her the divorce papers. She stared, then flipped through them. At first, confusion, then panic, then horror. "You planned this," she whispered. "You've been planning this?" "For weeks," I said, "while you were sleeping next to me, while you were lying to my face." She tried denial, tried to pivot. "It didn't mean anything," she said. "Reed, he was a mistake." I didn't respond. She tried seduction next, moved close, touched my chest. I stepped back, then she collapsed on the floor. Tears, shaking, begging. I let her stay there. "You have 72 hours to find another place to stay," I said coldly. "After that, the landlord gets the letter about the morality clause you violated." She looked up at me like she didn't recognize the man standing in front of her. She wasn't wrong. That man, the man who trusted, who forgave too quickly, who blamed himself, was gone. What stood before her now was a man who'd done his homework, who'd spent nights reading legal forums, talking to lawyers, documenting everything down to the receipt. I wasn't emotional. I was strategic. "You told your friends I was too stupid to know," I said. She said nothing. Well, surprise. Then I left her there on the floor. No shouting, no slammed doors. Just silence. The kind that ends things for good. The first night in my new place, I slept on the floor. No bed yet, just a mattress and my father's old watch sitting on the windowsill. But I slept, really slept. No tossing, no staring at the ceiling, replaying conversations. Just sleep. She sent me a message the next morning. "I know you hate me, but I miss you." I didn't answer. There was nothing left to say. 3 days passed. Then her mother called. She apologized, genuinely. Said she was ashamed. Said she understood. Her voice cracked when she thanked me for not retaliating publicly. They had raised a daughter who built her world on lies. I didn't correct her. The narrative could be hers to mourn. I had no interest in rewriting it anymore. That weekend I met Ava at a quiet cafe. We didn't talk about revenge or justice, just grief. It was strange. Two strangers bonded by the same wound. But there was peace in it. Closure. She said Reed had moved out, that he cried, that she didn't care. She was heading to Pennsylvania. New start. I wished her well. A month later, the divorce finalized. I kept the apartment, the savings, the car. The court saw the evidence and called it overwhelming. Claire walked away with some furniture, a small settlement, and a reputation quietly unraveling behind her. Our friends didn't say much. Some vanished. Others reached out, quietly. One of them, Michelle, sent a message. I didn't know how bad it was. I'm sorry. I didn't reply. There's a point where silence speaks better than forgiveness. I boxed the last of her things and left them at her parents' place. No note, just the key taped to the top. Afterward, I drove to a field on the edge of the city, sat there in the car for an hour with the windows down, listening to nothing but wind. Then I deleted the backup files, every screenshot, every recording. Gone. I'd won. Not in court, not on social media, but in truth. She told the world I was stupid. She learned, too late, that I was methodical. She laughed with her friends about the nap couch. She forgot that quiet men are often the ones who wait the longest, then burn everything down in silence. 6 months later, I started dating again. Nothing serious. Just someone who smiled when she talked, someone who asked real questions and didn't hide her phone when she went to the kitchen. I didn't tell her the full story. Some truths are mine to carry, not hers to inherit. I look at myself differently now, not as a victim, not as a man broken by betrayal, but as someone who faced the ugliest version of love and didn't flinch. I don't hate her. I don't wish her pain, but I don't forget. The lesson was costly, but I paid in full, and I never look back.